The Void Dragon, sometimes referred to as the Dragon, though its proper name is Magladroth, is one of the few remaining Catan, one of the Necron's star gods, in the Milky Way Galaxy. The Void Dragon, or a large Catan shard of it, is believed by some tech priests to be the actual machine god venerated by the cult of the machine of the Adeptus Mechanicus. There may be a connection between this being and the Dragon of Mars, an unknown entity which was imprisoned beneath the surface of Mars by the Perpetual, who would become the Emperor of mankind before the start of the Age of Strife. The Void Dragon, if it actually exists, is arguably the most powerful surviving Catan, particularly after the banishment of the Nightbringer's phase Scythe to the warp by the Old Ones and their Eldari servants during the War in Heaven. Millions of standard Magladroth is named the Void Dragon in Eldari mythology, which portrays it as a figure of oblivion, wanton destruction and devastation. It was a master of the material realm, and its warriors were practically invincible during the War in Heaven. While eating stars, it takes the form of a cloud of dark light. In the Eldari myths, the Void Dragon was only defeated when the legendary artifacts known as the Talismans of Vol were placed about the Void Dragon's neck. At that moment, a light spilled forth that revealed its secret weakness. The Catan was ultimately defeated by the Necrons it had once enslaved and was shattered into shards. In an imperial transcript of a Vox communication between an inquisitor named Horst and a tech priest named Alagos, the Void Dragon is described as the most powerful of all the ancient star gods, having once possessed the ability to create almost invincible warriors. According to the ancient Eldari legends reviewed by Horst, these warriors could channel lightning into their foes, though these lightning attacks were ineffective against the Iron Knights that the Eldari hastily created to battle against the ancient Necrons. Having gained a respite through the forging of the Iron Knights, the Eldari god of the forge, Vol, created the Talismans of Vol, Blackstone fortresses. These two were powered by the souls of Eldari farseers and were used by Vol to attack the Void Dragon directly. Here the Eldari legend ends, and there is little evidence as to the outcome of the legendary battle, other than the stated opinion of Inquisitor Horst, which was that the Eldari attack had succeeded in stopping the Void Dragon's rampage, but ultimately had failed to destroy the Star God. In the final years of their great war against the Old Ones, the Catan were losing, overwhelmed by the psychic might of their foes. Using machineries and technologies conceived by the Void Dragon, the Necrons planned to turn the tide of the war by cutting off the Old Ones from the source of their psychic power. They would forever separate real space from the warp with an unbreakable barrier. Protected by massive war fleets, the Necrons began to construct warp suppression pylons at key locations across the galaxy, such as Cadia in the Segmentum Obscurus and the Cerberus Shroud in the Segmentum Tempestuous. This plan was interrupted, however, and the arcane mechanisms were never fully completed. Eventually, the Void Dragon was shattered into shards and imprisoned by the Necrons as the Silent King led his revolt against the Catan. In 912.M41, the Necron-Erodipe dynasty was ravaged by the While only speculation at best, it is believed by experts knowledgeable on this topic that the Void Dragon may actually be on Mars, likely in the Noctis Labyrinth, where it is known to the Adeptus Mechanicus as the entity called the Dragon of Mars. This is believed because of the suicide rush in 998.M41 by 5 Necron Shroud-class light cruisers that succeeded in penetrating the planetary defenses of Mars and then landing on the red planet near the Noctis Labyrinthus in pursuit of an unknown objective. In addition, the Warmaster of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, and one of his lieutenants have discovered, through their interactions with the demonic spirits of the warp, that there is a new kind of death walking on Mars. The idea of the Void Dragon slumbering beneath Mars was also given credence during the Horus Heresy. At the outbreak of the Schism of Mars in the early 31st millennium, it was known by the master adepts of the ancient Mechanicum who sided with Horus that the Dragon of Mars, an ancient entity believed to have been defeated and captured by the man who would become the emperor of mankind before the Age of Strife, was hidden in the Noctis Labyrinthus. A guardian of the dragon, a Terran girl named Delia Cathera, was also transformed into a Perpetual and interred within to keep others away from the entity and to keep the creature secured there. The Void Dragon is remembered as the most technologically advanced and knowledgeable of the Catan, even capable of harnessing the raw power of unrefined blackstone. It unleashes this potent force as an energy that ripples throughout the necrodermis bodies of its Catan shards, creating a constantly shifting, digitally pixelated appearance for its physical forms, as if they exist in some sort of quantum state that is in flux between realities.